Today we're going to continue our focus on emotional intelligence and thinking about our emotions. And so I have a poem to start today that has a little bit to do with meditation and what we do every week and gather after the talk when we meditate. So I'd invite you to close your eyes, to get very quiet and still, to make sure you're facing forward, and then just gently lower your heads to the ground so you can listen and focus. A poem recommended by Ms. Noth. Some words about meditation. I breathe slowly in. I breathe slowly out. My breath is a river of peace. I am here in the world. Each moment I can breathe and be. I watch the stream. Each thought is a floating leaf. One leaf is worry, another leaf is sadness. The leaves drift softly away. I breathe slowly in. I breathe slowly out. My breath is a pathway of peace moving softly through me. Each day I can breathe and be. And when I count to 1, you can open your eyes. 3, 2, 1. Let's give a big warm welcome to someone we know. Dr. Hraha is going to talk with us today.
That's great. Thanks. Good morning. Let's take a big breath. That was a beautiful poem. I love that. Let's take a big breath. I know I need it. So if you would do that with me, it would help me. So let's take a big breath together. Breathe in and breathe out. That feels good. So I was asked to speak today to you about the importance of emotional intelligence and achievement. Now, many of us think achievement has to do with academics and how well we do in school. Although I think this has a lot to do with achievement, that's kind of a narrow perspective. The kind of achievement I want to talk with you about today is life achievement and why emotional intelligence matters. So we know a lot about emotional intelligence. So what does emotional intelligence have to do with? You tell me. Feelings, right, exactly. Feelings. Recognizing your emotions and the emotions of others. Knowing the difference between emotions and labeling them, and regulating your emotions. So what does this have to do with achievement? I just want to make sure I'm on the right slide. So I can tell you from personal experience, the more I learn these things that I just named, all these up here, the more I achieved in my life. And lots of people who study this stuff have found the same things. A great deal of this has to do with our relationships and the feelings that go with these relationships. And a huge piece has to do with self-awareness. So if you think of self-awareness as a bucket, that's this big bucket, right? It's like the self-awareness bucket. And what goes into that bucket is my emotions and being aware of my emotions, what I'm thinking, what are my thoughts, what are my behaviors and how those impact others, and taking responsibility for things, and so much more. So I'm going to share a story with you today that's similar to many of those who have stood up here and shared here at these Gather Talks with you this year. But along with my story, I'm going to share with you the emotional intelligence pieces that helped me along the way. So I've achieved a lot in my life, but it's the most recent achievement that I want to share with you today. So as many of you know, I'm from Chicago. I was born and raised in this big, beautiful city, and I lived there my whole life. No farther than 20 miles from where I was raised. I have never lived anywhere else. So when I decided to take this wonderful opportunity here at PBS, it was a huge decision to move all the way across the country from Chicago to this area. I didn't really move to San Francisco, but that's what it looks like. It was a huge decision to come here to this very unfamiliar place where I knew no one. I was also coming here without my husband, who I love very much, sorry, but needs to stay in Chicago to run our business. So that made it a very big deal. I was also leaving behind my grown sons. So how do you think I felt, you guys? What was I feeling? What? Sad? What else? Afraid? Lonely sometimes? Worried? Do you think I was excited? I was. I was. I know, it sounds like all this crazy hard stuff. Why would I be excited? Well, because I was coming here. I was coming here to be with you and to work with you and to learn all of your names and get to know all of you and to get to do this wonderful, important thing here. So yes, I felt fear and sadness, but excitement and joy. I had lots and lots of feelings. Yes, I had lots of feelings. But they gave me valuable information. I named them, I expressed them, and that helped me a lot. I didn't stuff them down. So that's a big piece of emotional intelligence. I was also aware of my thoughts spinning around in my head and the beliefs I have about myself, which kind of were kind of negative. Like, this is crazy. I can't do this. I don't know if I'm going to be strong enough to handle this. What if my family and friends are mad at me because I'm moving away? What if I make mistakes? I've never lived alone. I'm not sure I can do that. These thoughts, my friends, they tend to be negative and limiting. These are called stinking thinking. We're going to learn a lot more about that this year, I know. But because I was aware of those thoughts and feelings that go with them, I was able to notice them and talk about them. So rather than letting those stinking thinking thoughts stop me, I worked to shift those thoughts to ones that were more positive and realistic. Like, yes, I have never done anything like this before, and although it's scary and there's lots of unknowns, I am totally capable and able. I have lots of people in my life who want this for me and will support me. I'm not alone, and I'm loved. I will make mistakes, and although that doesn't feel good in the moment, they are opportunities for me to learn and grow. And wow, how courageous I am for taking such a big risk. So yes, as I said earlier, a big part of emotional intelligence is relationships. I could have made this decision alone, right? I could have done that, but I didn't want to. I chose to include the people in my life with whom I have valued and trusted relationships. I talked to them, I shared my feelings with them, and my thoughts, all those negative ones, but also the positive ones I just shared with you. I asked lots of questions, I asked for their advice, I told the truth, and I asked for their feedback. That's a big piece. And they gave it to me. And a lot of these people in my life, including my family, they know how important social and emotional learning is to me, and that it's my passion and my mission, and how important it is to our world, and they want it too. So, my husband and I made this big decision that I would move all the way across the country to California. You know, the Golden Gate Bridge, it's beautiful. So I came here to the school, and there were many, many, many decisions between the time I accepted the job and I moved here. But I'm gonna fast forward a little bit now to living here. So once I moved to my apartment, I started my job here at the school. There were lots of new challenges, right? I had achieved many things. I had applied, interviewed, and got this job. Yes. In that process, I made a huge decision to move here from my lifelong home and my family to come here. Yay! And I started my new job and my life here. High five, right? So that piece that I just did, that's called celebration. Yes, I did it. We did it. Wow, what an important accomplishment. Celebration is a huge part of our growth. It's super important to acknowledge yourself and to others that you accomplished something. Yay, me. I just did this big thing in my life that I'm really proud of. And this is the way, and in this way, I'm accentuating the positive, meaning that's making it bigger, the positive parts, so that when those scary things in my life come again, I have filled my bucket, and maybe all those scary things won't feel so bad, and I might take that risk again and continue to grow. So now that I had crossed a lot of those big hurdles, my new challenges were just about the day-to-day things of living here on my own. So Do you guys think that it was a good idea for me to stop there? Should I have just stopped? Should I have just stayed in my apartment, played it safe, take no more risks? No, of course not. No. I had tons of things to figure out. Where were the stores? I had to figure out where the streets were. I had to set up my apartment, meet new people, meet this whole beautiful community here. Get a car? No, I actually brought my car. I had it shipped. Yeah, that was a good idea though. I did need a car. That was a big decision that was one of the big decisions we made. And just exploring California and also staying connected to my husband, and we fly back and forth. That was a big decision. So every one of these decisions brings up all kinds of feelings. Every day I felt fear, but I also felt joy and excitement as well as sadness. I continue to name my feelings and express them. I still had those negative thoughts, I still do, and I notice them and I shift them to more empowering and positive thoughts. I made and I continue to make lots of phone calls to my friends and my family to get support and their feedback. I celebrate when I take risks and put myself out there. And I celebrate when I accomplish things and even when I make mistakes, and I've made a lot. So again, should I stop there? No, I want to keep growing. And if we all want to keep learning and growing in our lives, it's important, obviously, to try new things. And you, my friends, I thought of you a lot as I was preparing for this. You are constantly learning new things. It's what you do every single day, all day long. And it takes a whole lot of courage to do what you do every day. Some of you are new to this school this year. So much is new to you, and that takes courage. All of you started this school year in a new grade. Every day, you learn many, many new things. And we're not always the best, right? When we try new things, we're kind of not so good at them as we first learn them. Not yet. So sometimes we might want to quit. We have lots of feelings, those negative spinning thoughts, and sometimes we think we're alone, or that we're the only ones that are having a hard time. And adults feel that way too, don't you, adults, sometimes, right? So remember, each time you try something new or you take a risk, notice and express your emotions. Be aware of those negative thoughts, that I can't thoughts, or this is too hard, spinning in your head, and create new thoughts and beliefs, and repeat them to yourselves. Use the relationships in your lives. Reach out for support from your friends and your parents and other family members. Be honest. Ask questions, get lots of feedback. And celebrate. You gotta celebrate and acknowledge yourself. And then get out there and do it again. Thanks.